guys, John's Moto Garage. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about another one of the motorcycles that I regret selling, and to this day I still have seller's remorse. This bike was a 2005 Honda VTX 1800C. So of course, as always, I'll go over what I paid for the bike, a brief story on this one in particular. I'll go over how much I ended up selling it for, and go into detail why I wish I still had the motorcycle in my garage today. Before I jump into it, a little bit about the Honda VTX 1800. Honda released this bike in 2002. They manufactured it initially in 2001, and they came out with a few different models that were available: the Classic, the Custom, the Retro, the Spoke. They had an VTX 1800F at one point, and the In as well. And I did a video a while back going over some of this stuff, so I'll try not to be too redundant. But the thing that still blows my mind with this motorcycle is it was just such a monster of a bike, especially by the standards of that day. But even by today's standards, the bike is just a beast. 100 horsepower, 117 foot-pounds of torque, something close to that. And at the time when it came out, it was the largest production V-twin motorcycle available. Now, I know tons of people are going to bring up the Yamaha VMAX, the Honda Magna, and some of those other bikes, the Honda Valkyrie, for example, which are all muscle bikes as well. But you got to keep in mind those all have at least 2 cylinders more than the VTX 1800. I'm going to share a brief excerpt from a review that motorcyclecruiser.com did back when this bike was first released, just to kind of give you an idea of the experience you might expect with the VTX 1800. On paper or pavement, Honda's VTX is much faster than any stock V-twin cruiser on your dealer's floor. With its 12.3 seconds at 105.5 miles per hour a quarter mile time, the only large displacement cruisers on the running are Honda's own 6-cylinder Valkyrie at 12.13 seconds and 107 miles per hour, its V4 driven Magna 12.21 seconds at 107.6 miles per hour, and of course Yamaha's Yahoo-inducing VMAX, which eats a quarter mile in a mere 10.87 seconds, crossing the line at 124 miles per hour. So there's no mistake, the VMAX is still the monster muscle cruiser, the hot rod, no doubt about it. But keep in mind, we're talking V-twins here. But remember, all of these bikes have at least 2 pistons advantage over the VTX. The closest V-twins we've timed are Harley's FXDX at 13.62 seconds and 96.2 miles per hour. And on the metric side, Kawasaki's Classic, which pulled at 14.07 seconds at 92 miles per hour. So neither of those even stood a chance. And that kind of gives you an idea of, at the time, just how much of a beast this bike was, just from a V-twin getting that kind of performance, right? Impressive indeed, but maybe not as notable as having your head snapped back when you accelerate in 5th gear. Nothing on the block beats the VTX's acceleration figure at 79.6 after 200 yards from 50 miles per hour. And this V-twin moves forward just as fiercely from 80 miles per hour, 100 miles per hour, and above, way above. So again, that's from motorcyclecruiser.com. I think I'll put a link below to that article so you can really read a first-hand account from somebody who tried out the motorcycle back when it first came out, just to give you an idea of how impressive the bike was stacked up against its counterparts at the time. And that was my experience. The first time I ever rode one, I could not believe how torquey that bike was. And keep in mind, at the time, I wasn't doing anything crazy. I wasn't trying wheelies. I wasn't even really putting the bikes through the paces. But I just remembered, you barely crack the throttle, and like it said, your neck cracks back. So it's a gnarly bike for sure. And all I can say is, don't take my word for it. Get your hands on one of those bikes, try it out, and I guarantee you'll be blown away. The only other bike that has really done that for me, or given me that same sensation, was the Suzuki Boulevard M109R, and that didn't come out until 4 or 5 years later in 2006. So again, Honda was way ahead of the game, if you ask me, as far as the V-twin muscle cruisers go. And also, I'll note, yes, the Harley-Davidson V-Rod is a gnarly bike as well, but that one doesn't have the same torque at those low RPMs, and so it's a different experience. The VTX is just so low down that you're already getting that monster torque, whereas with the V-Rod, it's at those higher RPMs, so it is a different riding experience, even if the V-Rod, in terms of performance, is going to edge out the VTX 1800. Alright, so let's talk about the one that I purchased. So again, this was a 2005 VTX 1800C, which is my favorite model next to the F. And you'll know it comes with the drag bars. It's got the chopped rear fender, the more aggressive look to it, the smaller fenders, and just overall nice, cool looking motorcycle. I found this one on Craigslist. It was all the way down in Tucson, about 2.5 hours from where I'm at. So I made the drive down there. The bike in person was immaculate, very well maintained. It only had around 8,000 miles, newer tires. You could just tell the dude took good care of it. And I forget why he was selling it. I want to say he bought like a Honda Goldwing, but I'm not for sure. So I took the bike for a test ride. It ran great, and so I brought it back up here. And at that time, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't have a truck yet, and so I'm pretty sure I actually rode the bike back from Tucson, and it did not skip a beat. A few things about this find in particular: it had upgraded exhaust. It's got the nice drag bars, just tastefully modded, had some nice little added details that are always great finds in a used bike. And like I said, new tires as well, so the bike was turnkey, ready to go. Really did not need anything. Looking back at my notes, I paid $4,800 for the bike, which even by today would be a smoking deal. And I'm pretty sure I sold it for around $5,600, which again, I could probably sell it for about that much even today, because they no longer make the bike and the demand is going up because obviously we don't have that supply anymore. Now the interesting thing is, I didn't really have seller's remorse at the time. It was a quick flip. I made my cash on it and I moved on to the next one. But in the last year and a half since starting this channel, I've been searching high and low for another VTX 1800, and I haven't been able to find anything close to as good a deal in terms of price, condition, and all of that. And so now that's where that seller's remorse really sinks in, because I'm just now realizing how great a deal that was, how good a find it was. And the reality is, I'll probably never find a VTX 1800 quite as nice as that one without paying a premium price tag. So there you have it, you guys, the Honda VTX 1800C. One of the bikes I'm still a huge fan of. I regret getting rid of that one at the time. Wish I had it in my garage today, but it's usually the good ones that do get away. Let me know below, have you ever ridden the motorcycle? What are your thoughts on it? If you haven't ridden the bike, why not? And drop a comment below. Like and subscribe if you dig the content. You can also follow me on Instagram at John's Moto Garage, and we'll catch you on the next one. Adios. Nos vemos.